working on this one today. So everything's torn off. Easiest way to get to your carb, rip the seat off, tear the plastics off the side, and then take the rear subframe off, and it'll pop right out after you loosen up the two clamps that hold the carb to the engine. And as you do this, obviously you got to pull a fuel line off, and you got to loosen up this. I'll give you guys some light. There we go. You got to loosen up this. I forget what this is called. Slide, and it'll pop right out. So there's one clamp. The other clamp is obviously on the airbox rubber side. So loosen those up as much as you can, make it easy to get off, and then fuel line, shut your fuel off so it doesn't come dumping out. Ooh, looks like we got an exhaust leak in here too. See about fixing that later. Yeah, so without further ado, we're thawing out some, we're thawing out some ratchet straps. They're in the back of my truck, and it's 41 degrees below here in Alaska today. Working on a snowblower too. But I want to get this carb back together. Previous owner blew this thing up, top and bottom end. So upon further inspection, it had a small jet, 172. The recommended one is a 175 because this has a FMF Fatty exhaust expansion chamber and expansion pipe. So throw the carb down. I will show you how to put it back together. It's pretty easy to take apart. When you start off, pop the 4 screws out. That's these ones, and this thingamajig will come on out. And then if you're planning on putting it in a hydrosonic cleaner like I am, you will use a little pick and gently take this little gasket out. There's a 17 millimeter on the bottom of the bowl. That'll pop that little drain out. Take your little overflow line or drain line out, and then there's a screw for that as well, which is right here. And then once you get the bowl off, this gasket is for the drain bowl. Just take any kind of needle nose or anything. I think a 17 millimeter actually did it for this choke. That'll pop right out, so you don't heat it up too much. And then this same thing. This was a 17 millimeter electronic. I don't know what it does. Forgive me, but I know how to take it out and put it back together. It's all that matters. That's right here. And then you got your float right here, and that all you got to do is take a little pick, and once you look inside, you'll pry the pick out either side, or use the pick to pry this rod out either side, and you'll be able to pull the float and the needle out. Make sure to inspect your needle, make sure it's still rubberized. This one's kind of not that great. This bike's an 2000. The 10th digit is a Y. It has a Hot Rods bottom end rebuild kit and a Wiseco top end, and it runs fantastic. But I was concerned because of the colder climate here in Alaska that the reason it blew up was because it was jetted too lean. So this is a 172, this is a 175. I'm going to put the 175 in. This little air screw, this jet goes in right here, and then the main jet is right there. So someone can comment below what the correct terminology is. I can't remember. One's the air screw, one's the fuel screw. I believe that's how it works. When you pop your lines off, I'll show you how to put those back on later. Basically, I just take a flat head right here, pop them backwards, and then just pull the lines off. These are needing to be replaced, honestly, but probably gonna run them anyways. And then what else did we do? Okay, so idle screw and air screw. I don't remember which is which, but the smaller one, which is right here, was 1.5 turns out, and the big one right here is, believe it or not, 5 turns out. So this bike ran fantastic, but I just wanted to make it run a little more rich. So we're gonna go ahead and toss this in the ultrasonic cleaner, put all the metal parts in, leave the rubber parts out, and we'll get back to here shortly. All right, so we're using this here ready to use Slip 2000 Ultra Clean for ultrasonic cleaners. This is just a water-based stuff. It's not a solvent. So this is a H&B Luxuries ultrasonic cleaner. I haven't really been all that impressed with it in the past. I just took the basket out, so we're gonna try that out, see if it does anything more to my liking. But that was with rings and jewelry just for fun. I haven't actually tried it with carburetors, so maybe it'll turn out better. I just got it recently, so we'll give it a shot. It's heating up right now, and then we'll set it for as long as possible, which is 4 minutes. It's gonna make a horrible noise, and then we'll come back here shortly. All right, let's see how the hydrostonic cleaner did in a couple. Wow, look at the inside of that thing. Holy crap. Wow, that worked great. Oh my God. That looks good. Maybe another round for this one. Gotta go fishing. Got all that, majority of that crap out. Maybe we'll do one more round with this. But let's see what they did to the bolts. I'm gonna lay these out over here. Wow. Amazing. Definitely worth the investment. It's like 80 bucks for this. Cool. All right. All right. This carburetor is now glistening. Hydrosonic cleaner, except for right there, did a really good job. So we're gonna go ahead and start rebuilding this thing. That's gonna include, there we go. All right, we're gonna use the 175 jet. Toss that right in here. And if I'm not mistaken, this should be a 6 mil. And I'm sure you can just use anything, but 6 mil does it. Then we'll leave this jet over here. All right, we're gonna take this air screw. Make sure we can see straight through her. Hold it up to the light. Still got a little bit of hydrosonic fluid on her. Cool. All right, we're gonna toss that right in there. We'll use a little flathead screwdriver to push it all the way in, and then shouldn't have to tighten this very much. Just a good crank. Air screw. I think this is the idle screw, actually. No, air screw. Air to fuel ratio. This one goes on the outside here, and it's going to be 1.5 turns out. So we'll go ahead, crank her all the way down tight. That's tight. We'll go half, one full, 1.5. Okay, and then we're going to take this big old idle screw, which goes, there we go. This is going to be 5 turns out. So we use this larger screwdriver, crank till it's snug. Good, and we're gonna go half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. That's good for my temperature outside. Not sure about yours. Cool. One thing you want to inspect is your float height as well. So it depends on when you set this thing in. And you can actually take a measurement from the base of the carb to the in line with the bowl. Take the needle, set it on the float like so, and then pop that bad Larry in there, get it lined up, that pin through both sides. Cool. All right. Awesome. You know it's choke because it says choke. I just take a little needle nose because this is plastic and just give it a little crank like that. Cool. Take the 17 mil, give her a good ooga-dooga. So I went ahead and connected this back on and popped the line electrical plug connector right through that little pre-bent piece. And we're gonna go ahead and put that rubber gasket back on the bowl and reattach her. We're gonna go ahead and seat this bad Larry back on. Everything looks good inside. And we'll flip this around. Cool. Just like that. Went ahead and put the O-ring on and tighten this back up with a 17 mil, and then we'll go ahead and put the overflow line on now too. This is how the lines go on. You got the short one on this side, and it's easier to just look at it than have me explain it. But basically, you want it where this little triangle lines up with the airbox side of, is it the airbox side? No, on the engine side of the carburetor. So small hole facing up, and then you got your short line, and big line connecting up top and the sides. Cool. Let's put this bad girl back on the bike. Alright, the easiest way to get the carb back in is to just zip off this rear shock and lean it backwards to 12 mil bolt and a 14 mil nut. Bring this sucker down and out of the way. Alright, now if you take your right hand, your left hand, push this thing to the side, you just sneak the carb right in. Big side facing out, small round side facing in. So clean this off good. I like to take just a tiny bit of 2-stroke oil, put it on this, and then pop that bad Larry in. If you look right here, you'll see a little indent, and that lines up with that cast metal clip, so that way you know the carb is symmetrical the way it's supposed to be, because this boot will line it up with the top of the carb. So line up that little mark with the little rubber out dents, if you will, on the rubber boot. We'll go ahead and tighten this clamp up. All right, go ahead and put your shock bolt back in. You're gonna have to lift up on the back tire with your foot, slide the bolt through and tighten her up. So we're gonna go ahead and slide the subframe on and the exhaust in one shot. This is never fun, so good luck to you. All right, GoPro died, but she's back together. This is very difficult to get on seated over the carb. What you need to do is, like I said, loosen this clamp up all the way, and then I put the subframe bolts in first to sort of force the airbox forward, and then grab onto this little thing right here, and then from the other side, I actually reach over with my right hand, pull on this, and with the left hand, I kind of take a flathead screwdriver and push the carb this way on that lip, and it seems to work. There's no easy way of doing it, so good luck. All right, let's get this thing put back together. I'm gonna tighten up these bolts before I forget, and then put this tank on, and we'll fire this thing up. Hopefully it starts. right, there we go. She's all back together. Fire right up. Let's give her some revs, since everybody wants to hear, right? Smoke this garage out. It was really pingy before and zingy, so let it warm up for a minute and then see how it does it. Wide open throttle, baby.